A world emerges where humans were not alone, where shadows of other beings moved through forests and caves, beings that resembled us but carried entirely different legacies. The features in your face, the strength in your body, even the way your mind works may hold whispers from those long-lost species. Humanity's story is not a single line, but a tangled web of encounters, secrets, and hidden inheritances that shaped everything alive today. The truth is stranger than fiction, written not in books, but deep inside your very DNA. Long before the first cities rose, before fire lit the night in stone settlements, the world belonged to shadows and whispers, to creatures that moved silently through forests, across icy plains and along jagged mountains, leaving only traces of their existence. Humans were not alone. Neanderthals, their bodies thick with muscle and adapted to bitter cold, hunted with precision and cunning, their eyes reflecting a deep, almost silent intelligence. Denisovans lingered in distant caves, enigmatic and fleeting, leaving behind only fragments, teeth, bone, and DNA that would puzzle scientists for centuries. And then there were the hybrids, born of encounters so rare and fleeting that for thousands of years they remained invisible, yet their influence would ripple through evolution itself, hidden within the very code of our being. Every strand of DNA tells a story not of isolation, but of collision and convergence. A story of survival in a world where death was always near and the stakes were life itself. Ancient humans shared more than landscapes. They shared genes, skills, strategies, and ideas, blending strength with endurance, cunning with adaptability, shaping the course of evolution in ways modern humans are only beginning to understand. Across frozen valleys and dense forests, across rivers that roared like thunder and plains that stretched to the horizon, encounters occurred, silent, brief, and profound. A Neanderthal woman steps carefully over a frozen stream, her breath rising in the frigid air, as a Homo sapiens man watches from a distance, lean and agile, his heart racing, muscles coiled for movement. There are no words between them, only glances and gestures, a subtle understanding of shared danger and opportunity, a recognition that survival often requires more than strength alone. From such encounters came children, lines of DNA that carried the resilience of one species, the cleverness of another, and the adaptability of both. These genetic legacies are more than markers. They are gifts, small but potent tools that allowed humans to endure in environments that would have killed their ancestors. Fossils and tools hint at these stories. Neanderthals in Spain crafted tools remarkably similar to those of Homo sapiens thousands of miles away, suggesting observation, learning, and perhaps collaboration. Denisovan fragments in Siberia reveal not only a mysterious lineage, but also evidence of advanced survival strategies in harsh landscapes. Each artifact, each trace of DNA, whispers of connections that were never accidental. Evolution, long imagined as a straight line of progress, is revealed instead as a complex web, woven from countless interactions, encounters, and exchanges. Modern humans carry these histories in their bodies. Genes from Neanderthals influence immune systems, skin pigmentation, and even the brain's wiring. Denisovan DNA offers adaptation to high altitudes and resistance to certain diseases. Hybridization was not a mere curiosity. It was a driving force, a catalyst that shaped who we are. Yet the story does not end with survival. These encounters also sparked creativity, ingenuity, and culture. Artifacts, ornaments, and evidence of symbolic thinking suggest that ancient humans borrowed not just genes, but ideas, skills, and knowledge, amplifying their ability to manipulate their environment, anticipate dangers, and thrive. Consider the leap in toolmaking and strategic thinking, often attributed solely to Homo sapiens. The truth is far stranger. These abilities may have been bolstered, enhanced, and transmitted through subtle exchanges with other human species. Each hybrid child carried potential advantages that were invisible yet profound, shaping the trajectory of entire populations. And yet much of this history vanished. Entire species disappeared, leaving behind only fragments, remnants of DNA, and a handful of fossils. But these remnants are enough. Enough to reveal a hidden story of survival, adaptation, and connection. Evolution was not a solitary struggle. It was a tapestry of encounters, woven from the threads of multiple lineages, each contributing to the resilience, intelligence, and creativity that define humans today. Walking through the genome is like walking through a time machine. Every Neanderthal gene in your body carries a silent testament to survival in icebound valleys. Every Denisovan sequence reflects endurance in thin, oxygen-starved air. Together, these threads reveal a picture of humanity that is neither linear nor simple, but layered, complex, and astonishing. It challenges the myths of superiority, of singular progress, forcing a re-evaluation of what it truly means to be human. Survival, intelligence, and adaptability were not merely inherited from one species. They were shared, borrowed, and amplified across the tangled branches of our family tree. As the pieces fall into place, a world emerges in which human evolution is not the story of a single lineage triumphing over others, but a story of fusion, blending, and collaboration written in the language of DNA. And within every modern human, this history pulses quietly, shaping responses, instincts, and capacities that we barely recognize. A legacy that stretches back tens of thousands of years to encounters long lost in the mist of prehistory, yet alive in our very cells. Fossils, tools, and DNA fragments provide glimpses into this lost world, yet each discovery raises even deeper questions. How did these lineages interact socially? Did they teach one another? Did cultural exchange flow alongside genetic exchange? Were some advances in human creativity, technology, or language accelerated by these hybrid encounters? The answers are still emerging, and each revelation feels more astonishing than the last. Evolution becomes less a story of survival of the fittest, and more a story of survival through connection, collaboration, and convergence. Every encounter, every hybrid child, every borrowed gene has contributed to the humans we are today. A mosaic of lineages and legacies that defies simple explanation. Walking through the story of ancient hybrids is like walking through a hall of mirrors. Reflections overlap, identities merge, and the boundaries between species blur. The truth is that humanity, as we understand it, is not the product of isolation or singular achievement. It is the outcome of a complex, intertwined dance, a choreography of survival, adaptation, and inheritance that stretches across species, across continents, and across millennia. Every strand of DNA, every fossil, every ancient artifact is a piece of this story, revealing a truth that is both humbling and exhilarating. Human evolution was never solitary. It was a grand shared journey, shaped by encounters, collisions, and collaborations with beings who were once strangers, yet whose legacies live on in each of us. As human history unfolded across continents, the legacy of ancient hybrids continued to shape evolution in ways both subtle and profound, like hidden currents beneath the surface of a vast, turbulent ocean. Genes inherited from Neanderthals and Denisovans did more than influence immunity, metabolism, or skin. They carried fragments of memory, instinct, and adaptability that guided survival in environments that would have overwhelmed unmodified Homo sapiens. High in the Himalayas, the ability to thrive in thin, oxygen-starved air traces directly to Denisovan inheritances, while across Europe, resilience to cold, resistance to pathogens, and even behavioral tendencies echo the Neanderthal influence embedded deep in our genome. Every human is a mosaic of these lineages, a living archive of encounters that were at once intimate, dangerous, and transformative. The implications are staggering. Our ability to survive in deserts, forests, mountains, and tundras may not be the product of Homo sapiens alone, but the culmination of countless interspecies meetings, each adding a brushstroke to the canvas of human resilience. Artifacts, fossils, and DNA fragments converge to reveal a portrait of evolution that defies linear narratives, one in which creativity, tool use, and cultural complexity were amplified not by isolation but by interaction, by learning across species boundaries. A Neanderthal mother's careful teaching of hunting techniques, a Denisovan father's endurance instincts passed to his offspring, and subtle social learning may have accelerated the emergence of language, planning, and cooperation. What we often celebrate as uniquely human achievements may in fact be the product of shared knowledge across species, magnified over generations, a testament to the power of hybridization as a force of evolutionary innovation. Yet this story is not merely one of survival and advantage. It is also a story of disappearance, loss, and transformation. Entire lineages vanished, leaving only fragments of bone and scattered genetic echoes, Yet these remnants are sufficient to reshape our understanding of human history. The Neanderthals disappeared from Europe, the Denisovans from Asia, but their genes endured, quietly sculpting the physiology, cognition, and adaptability of every human who carries them. Each heartbeat, thought, and instinct is subtly influenced by these long-extinct relatives, evidence that evolution is less a ladder of progress and more a vast, intertwined web of life. The story deepens further. Recent studies suggest the presence of even more mysterious hominin lineages, ghost populations whose DNA lingers in modern humans, but whose fossils remain undiscovered, hinting at encounters and contributions we have barely begun to fathom. The boundaries of what it means to be human blur, revealing a lineage defined not by singularity, but by convergence, not by purity, but by mixture, a legacy of interaction written into the very blueprint of life. Tracing this hidden past raises astonishing questions. What if our triumphs, resilience, and creativity are the product of collaboration that transcended species? What if the spark that enabled humans to dominate diverse environments, build societies, innovate, and create art originated in part from genes, instincts, and ideas borrowed from other species? The skills to survive, adapt, and flourish were amplified by hybridization, weaving together strengths from multiple lineages into a single formidable species. This perspective transforms the human story from one of solitary triumph to one of collective inheritance, a narrative where survival was shaped by the invisible threads connecting species, generations, and distant landscapes. Modern humans carry these threads quietly in their cells: immunity fortified by Neanderthal genes, endurance sharpened by Denisovan DNA, and subtle cognitive advantages that may have influenced learning, memory, and perception. Evolution, long thought to favor the fittest in isolation, emerges instead as a story of connection, collaboration, and shared destiny, where hybridization accelerated adaptation and survival in ways that single species alone could not achieve. Each fragment of DNA, each artifact, each fossil tells part of this story, revealing a human history more intricate and interwoven than previously imagined. Every person alive today is a living testament to these encounters, a mosaic of lineages and legacies that defy simple categorization. The past resonates within us, shaping how we think, move, and endure, a reminder that the journey of humanity was never solitary. It was a dance of interaction across species, a convergence of paths, and a shared inheritance that continues to define who we are. The hidden echoes of ancient hybrids whisper that evolution is not merely survival of the strongest, but survival through connection, learning, and unity across differences. This understanding opens a new chapter in human history, one in which every step forward carries the weight and wisdom of countless encounters long past. A reminder that we are not the product of isolation but of collaboration across the vast, intricate web of life. As the story of ancient hybrids comes into focus, it becomes clear that humanity's journey was never linear, never solitary, and never simple. The threads of Neanderthal strength, Denisovan endurance, and perhaps even the contributions of unseen, ghost lineages are woven into every human being today, silently shaping how we think, feel, and survive. These encounters, long hidden in caves, frozen valleys, and fragments of DNA, reveal that evolution was not merely a competition of individuals or species, but a network of connections, a dance of interaction that magnified resilience, intelligence, and adaptability. Every heartbeat carries echoes of distant ancestors. Every instinct whispers of survival strategies honed over millennia, and every creative impulse may trace back to a lineage we no longer see, but whose influence endures. What we often perceive as human ingenuity, our ability to invent, to adapt, to communicate across complex societies, may not be a solitary achievement of Homo sapiens, but a shared inheritance, amplified by the blending of strengths from species whose names we barely know. The implications ripple far beyond our understanding of the past. If our very DNA carries the signatures of hybridization, then every step forward as a species has been shaped by encounters, exchanges, and collaborations that span tens of thousands of years. It forces a rethinking of identity, of what it truly means to be human, our triumphs, our vulnerabilities, And even our creativity are tied not only to our immediate ancestors, but to a vast network of beings who walked, hunted, and survived alongside us. Sometimes in shadow, sometimes in close partnership. Evolution in this light is not just survival of the fittest, but survival of the connected. Survival through learning, adaptation, and the courage to reach across difference. And yet, the story is far from complete. Every discovery, every fossil unearthed, every gene mapped, every ancient tool studied, opens new questions, new mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Who were the other lineages, whose traces still linger in our genomes? What knowledge, what instincts, what abilities were lost to time, and which continue to guide us unknowingly? The more we uncover, the more astonishing the picture becomes. A human story written not in isolation but in convergence. A tale of countless hidden encounters that collectively shaped the species we call ourselves. As we gaze at this hidden legacy, it is impossible not to feel a profound sense of awe. A humbling reminder that humanity is part of a far larger, far stranger tapestry than we ever imagined. Every one of us carries a story older than history, richer than any artifact, and more intricate than the most detailed narrative we can conceive. This is the true power of our shared inheritance. It invites us to look beyond the visible, to explore the mysteries embedded in our very being, and to recognize that our journey is far from over. If this journey through time and DNA has opened your eyes to the hidden depths of human evolution, subscribe to our channel, share this story, and continue exploring with us, because there are countless secrets waiting in the shadows of our past, each one capable of reshaping how we see ourselves, and the astonishing, intertwined story of humanity is only beginning to be told.